Yep, that's right. Sometimes all you need is some paper and a pen to create some awesome, fun sketches. Hello everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. It's Jess here. In this video, we are going to be doing some ballpoint pen sketches. I'll show you how I draw faces and give you 5 inking tips. And that's right, we are only going to be using pen today, and I'll show you how to achieve some great sketches with just a pen. Let's begin drawing and starting with tip number 1. First things first, and it may sound simple, forget that you're using a pen. Many people can get easily discouraged as soon as they pick up a pen since it won't be able to erase. But that's actually part of the reason why I love creating sketches with a ballpoint pen. It's a great little challenge and I'm able to create these messy lines which actually adds to my sketch. I like to treat the ballpoint pen that I'm using as if it's a pencil, and I would actually start off by using the side of the pen to create some lighter lines as if I'm drawing with a pencil. Now, I'm not using any fancy pen here, this is just a regular stationary ballpoint pen. I have used many different pens and I realized that the cheaper the pen, the better it is. So in reality, you really don't need any expensive art supply to create some awesome sketches. In fact, using a ballpoint pen to draw is probably one of my favorites since I'm still able to create as much variety and depth in my drawing as I'm able to with a pencil. I love that you can create lighter marks or really dark marks. You can really build up your line work as well as your values, which I'll talk about in the upcoming tips. But it's just important you find a pen that you like, that you enjoy drawing with, and one that is just comfortable for your drawing style. I just like to pick a pen where I'm able to get different varieties in strokes, since I really enjoy experimenting with dark and light lines in my art. And this brings me to tip number 2. Even though I've been drawing and using ballpoint pen for many years now, I love keeping a scrap paper beside me or even in my sketchbook somewhere where I can experiment, do different line making, try to draw with the pen lighter and darker. I literally just do whatever comes to mind and doodle, and this helps you get familiar with your tool. I noticed that every pen reacts differently to the way you draw, so I love seeing how dark and how light I can get with the pen that I'm using. And also, this is sort of like a warm-up for artists, is what I like to call it. When I'm drawing, I use the tip of the pen to make dark values, and then when I want to create lighter values, sort of like a pencil, I use the side of the pen to create lighter strokes. Also really important, I like to keep a scrap paper in order to remove any excess ink that builds up at the tip of your pen when you're drawing. Overall, there is no right or wrong to do on your scrap paper. I just like to mess around and see what I'm able to create. I go really dark and then I create some medium values and I start to do these little lines in order to make sure that my hand is building a muscle memory for the lines that I'm going to create in my sketchbook. I like to practice different varieties and just get my hand familiar with the motion. So as I'm drawing the faces in my sketchbook and revealing some tips to you guys, these first 2 tips that I've mentioned are really helpful for when I start my drawings out. I forget I'm using a pen and I just draw as if I'm using a pencil. I build out the foundation using the larger shapes that I practiced and very light lines in my scrap paper. And then I shade in big main shapes in one direction. I treat the biggest shape of shadow that I see initially in the portrait as one main value. As you can see here, I'm shading the large shape diagonally, and this provides a great foundation for my inking techniques, which I like to think of this as a base layer for when I begin to add values. So this 3rd tip sets us up for the upcoming tips in the next part of our drawing. After I created my base layer, you can see that I'm building up my values, and here I have a darker line and then it fades to a lighter line. Adding variety is very important because it creates the most depth in your sketches. And a great way to do that is to crosshatch. Crosshatching improves with experimentation and practice, but just to show you guys, I like to crosshatch by overlapping the areas that need more values using the opposite direction in lines. And it's my favorite aspect of creating variety in my art. I think I actually crosshatch with every medium that I use. But now that I've mentioned the 5 awesome tips that will help you create a successful ballpoint pen drawing, let's take a look at them in action as I show you how I draw these next few faces. So, as mentioned in tip number 1, I'm sketching as if I'm using a pencil, so I'm creating these lighter marks and I'm building up my drawing. With using a scrap paper, as mentioned in tip number 2, I found a way to draw and make lines with my pen that I felt was comfortable for me. And as mentioned in tip number 3, I shaded in the larger areas using a diagonal mark as a foundation for my big shapes of shadows that I see. I also then begin to create lots of variety in my drawings, darker and lighter lines in certain areas, which gives it a really nice stylized look. I selectively pick where I'm going to add darker and lighter lines, and I like to look at the overall sketch and see where it's necessary. Usually, as a bonus tip, I like to focus on the darker areas and just include a darker stroke in my pen making and fade it out to a lighter mark, as you can see I'm doing here. Again, I have just experimented with some little lines in my scrap paper, so I'm just feeling what feels natural to me when I'm drawing and including it in my sketch. And I always love to crosshatch since it adds the most variety to my art. So I created some faces using the black ballpoint pen, but you guys know I love to switch it up, so it's time to get colorful. A while ago, I had picked up all these random colors from the store, and I decided to try using this lighter green ballpoint pen that I had, and begin to add some color to my sketchbook spread. And you guys know from my sketchbook tours that I love adding color and just creating some variety in my sketchbook spreads. But of course, as always, I make sure that everything is connected. So I'm just following up with the tips and steps that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and I'm building up my line work and drawings slowly for this sketch. So I wanted to show you guys all the tips in action once again for some upcoming examples, so let me know if you spot all of them while watching these last few drawings. When making my face drawings, I like to keep the messy lines as a little kind of stylization in my artwork, so I'm not really too preoccupied with making it extremely neat. I actually enjoy creating scratchy marks in order to create some more depth and more, I guess, rhythm and fun in my drawings. The green sketch was complete, and now let's see which color I'm going to pick next. I was immediately drawn to the red pen. I actually love drawing in red, so let's do the next face. If you guys have never experimented with drawing with colored ballpoint pens, I highly recommend picking up a cheap, simple pack of colored ballpoint pens to try to up and bring some color to your sketches. I love drawing with the Col-Erase Prismacolored colored pencils, so drawing with pens kind of reminds me of that. It's a good pen alternative. I also know that they sell the multicolored pens where you can switch the color in one pen itself, and I do use those as well and I love them a lot. So if you can get those wherever you are, they're especially good if you're on the go and you don't want to carry too many pens in your pencil case. It holds 3 or 4 different colors in one pen and they are super fun to draw with. Plus, in some stores you can find some real good gems where you can find different shades of different colors. I think I found a rainbow pen where I've had like 10 colors in one big giant pen, which is a lot of fun. So as much as I wanted the video to go on and keep drawing, I wanted to do one last drawing with the purple pen. I haven't usually drawn with purple, but I ended up loving the way that it draws, and just the pop of color was a really nice transition from the others. And I know you guys have been messaging me to do more videos and show more work, but I'm doing my best to get out as many videos as possible. If you do want some slowed down version and super long videos, almost an hour long, you can check out my Patreon where I am doing real-time, slow, exclusive videos where you will have access to all the monthly exclusive videos that I put out. You'll also be part of a Discord server where we give feedback on each other's art. I have monthly prompts. I also have a tier where you can receive mail from me. It's totally optional, but be sure to check it out if you haven't already done so. I'll have everything linked below. And just to remind you guys, all of the prints are up in my shop, so if you want to check out my website as well, feel free to do so. As I'm finishing up this purple sketch, which I ended up loving so much, I made sure to keep in mind the tips and steps that I mentioned throughout the video. It's just how I sketch and a great process that I found that works well for me, which is why I decided to create this highly requested video and help you guys, to inspire you and share my tips with you that have personally helped me. Let me know which one of these faces you like the most in the comments below. I really enjoy reading all your comments and seeing all your feedback, so be sure to hit the like button and leave any comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys know I love sharing my sketchbook spreads with you and spending time in it, so I hope this motivates you to do some work in your sketchbook today. Wishing you guys an awesome day or week or night wherever you are. Don't forget to stay creative, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!